Well, hello everyone and welcome back. I'm finishing up these engines here. Did a couple other things. Finished up adding the white or the clear plastics, which then I frosted up for the engines, so that we'll get a little more glow out on the outer rim. And I think I'm still gonna leave the center open. We'll check. Well, I'll check once I get it in. But I got all the wires now soldered together. I'm just gonna shrink tube them. Ran my DC power supply to the wires that are gonna be for the connector, so then I can test all that all the way up through, so everything's working. Another thing I did is trying to figure out this canopy thing, where this canopy is just a little too small. Well, actually what the problem is the bottom's flat. And the actual original kit piece, the bottom actually is flat, and it kind of droops down here a little bit and then comes up. Because of this edge here kind of goes with the curve of the ship. So that's why it droops down in those spots on the original kit. But this 3D printed, I don't know, when they thought about that, they just went flat, and it sits completely flat. And these parts aren't out enough. But this piece fits right over the original canopy piece. So what I'm doing is we're going to do something like that. So what I did is I took the original canopy piece and I cut that whole bottom rim that actually fits in. It actually has a registry to fit in the opening. Now it's just a rim that you see here. So I totally cut. Do I still have the piece? I totally cut that part of the canopy off, the whole upper half. So I'm gonna leave this so it can open and close. But then we have that rim there, and then this fits right over top of that rim. And then we don't have a gap down here on each side. And you can push it down where all that fits flush. They look pretty close. This might be back a hair more. It might be the little piece that this actually hooks onto. It's not very noticeable, but it might be just enough that if that was like that, then they both fit right over. Pretty much. Oh yeah, especially if you push the front down. Is there anything I can do to address that? Because that's fitting good all the way across. And like I said, I could even glue all this like that. But I think that part's a little twisted. But see, the funny thing is, if you square this edge up here, it sits center correctly. But I think I'll leave it like that. That's the best we're gonna get out of this. Like I said, it is what it is, but that'll look much better, and then I can still hinge this up. I gotta get a pin for that. So that's how we solve that problem. Like I said, I think this corner here is back a hair. Or, yeah, it needs to come up. If this is correct. It's, man, it's like so minute. It almost makes me, but I puttied all that. So, I'm gonna leave it. It is what it is. That's the best we can do, like I said, with parts that don't match. Once we get that pin in there and that sits like that, that actually that makes it look a lot better. So I'm happy with that. Alright, I can remove this blue tape. That was just in case solder drops on your base, that it doesn't burn into the clear coat. Let's see which Actually, this one's probably going to need a yellow. Yeah. So, we'll shrink tube these so these don't short out on anything. Let me do the yellow lighter. There we go. That one can use a red. Do we have a small piece? Bueller. There we go. At least enough to cut this in half. I don't need the whole thing. There we go. Alright, we can start shoving this guy in here. Okay. Keep this canopy over there. Okay, got that all in. So that's all in there looking like that. So that's what we got there. And there's our 3 LEDs. And then that gives us our, you know, backlight, light blocking to make sure, you know, when you look through here you don't really see anything. But now we added the clear plastic, so it's not as crucial. But what I'm doing now, I got this soldered on. That was fairly simple. Did a test. I'm going to use my JB Quick JB Weld, and we're going to epoxy that in there. The epoxy works so much better than super glues, like for this type of stuff, especially when, you know, power cords are going to be plugged in and out of it. So you could have like a, you know, you're putting stress on it, where super glue and stress don't go together. It can, super glue's fragile, and it can want to crack and snap. So I think if I put, but epoxy has a little bit of a give. And it's a much stronger bond, I think. I know this is a tight fit, so I don't want to put too much in there because it's probably going to want to ooze out. Yeah. So we're going to keep trying to evenly spread this. It really only needs just to touch the surfaces. I can go a little heavy because these jacks come with like 2 flat spots. So I can go a little heavier there because it's not the same circumference as the threaded part. The threaded part I'm going to actually scrape till it's almost just epoxy in the threads. I'm still already getting, take a little bit of a rag here. Still too much. Like I said, this is a tight fit. Only need a little bit to bond it. Hopefully. There we go. Beautiful. Like I said, it's a tight. It was tight, hard to push in there. So that's going to help. At the same time that there's epoxy in there too. So there we go, there's our jack. I gotta see what I can do with this little bit of wired Usually I make a big pocket there so the wire can tuck in. Alright, we're getting there. I am so happy. I'm really happy I came up with a nice solution for that. And it looks good even with the canopy off. It kind of gives a rim to the opening. Might not be canon, but hey. Sometimes we gotta work with what we're given. And the canopy that came with that was nah. I mean, it was a completely enclosed canopy. And, you know, back then people weren't doing a lot of lighting and interiors and stuff like that. And the 3D printed part I got from Shapeways, and I don't know who's the guy who made the file, the person who made the file, is a great canopy. I mean, it looks great. It's functional. I love how all it works. The rivet detail on it is amazing. It's just that there was one oops. And hey, I don't even remember if it was even made exactly for this Monogram Revell kit, or if it was made for the Mobius. I don't remember if it even said. It just, I can't remember. There had to be something that made me say, okay, it's the right size. But I think that works. That makes me happy. It was a good solution. I was actually using my brain for once. It's the best solution. Otherwise, there was always going to be a gap there, and I can get it good here, but I can never get it good there. And like I said, this might have a little twist that I might be kind of why it's not. But once I put that pin in, and if I were to push that down, then they do set right. So once we get that pin in, I think we're good. But all in all, let's get this back glued on. I'm going to take that off. It's so fragile. I did crack it already. It cracked up there, but I super glued it and you can't even tell. I don't even know where exactly it cracked. I know it was right in there somewhere. So that's good. Trying to handle that as little as possible. But now we have the other fun part, which is getting this on, because it's got to snap over this. And then we got to, I got some putty in these where I went a little crazy grinding these. I'll probably have to redo once this is completely tight. But that's perfect plastic putty, so just like I did here for these seams, I'll just dab some in there, hit it with a little white. I'll dab some in there, I can wipe it away with a Q-tip since it's water-based. Hit it with a little bit of the hull color here, which is this pale gray. And hit it with a wash and we're good. It's in an area where you'll never touch. I could probably get it clear in there. But now it's this. And the thing about this is, I really can't use regular glue. It's got to be a super glue. Although it will snap on there and probably stay on there pretty good. So maybe I should just see if I can snap it on and leave it like that. And if I ever need to get inside here to fix anything, I can. Won't really ever be able to get into here, but at least I can fix the engine lights if something happens. So maybe we'll try that. Now this is tricky to get this to snap on. It's like a whole lot of kind of got to get one part in and then another part, and I can't remember the way it works, and you don't really have much areas to push on. And whether the ship's out of shape, there it goes. The ship might have a twist to it too. See, that's it. You always get one going and then it pops out another. I think the best way was to get top first. So I might have to pop that out again. Or do I get both of the bottoms? Let's try both of the bottoms there, because since they are going in, and then try to Don't tell me you wanted to fit during all the dry fits. And now you don't. I can't see where it's hitting. If I could just keep pressure on both, I think we're... Yeah, this is going to be a fun seesaw. Looks like we're still having hittage there. And I'm wondering if that's a little bit of the pre-puttying. It's like I got to keep holding this and then try to get the bottom in it. God, squeezed it tighter. It's almost there. As long as that top stays up. How are we looking there? Well, we're nice and fairly flush there. I think it's this here. I think we're hitting still. Because it's lifting that one up. So we still have hittage there, so I'm going to keep filing and we'll come back and see where we're at. Alright, we're back. I got her on there. What was going on is the little putty I put in here to pre-putty those corners was causing it not to want to go up there really tight. So I just filed that back and now she snapped on there, so there we go. It is on there, and I just puttied that with some perfect plastic putty there, that seam there. And these I glued down. This I just snapped on there. It fits on there so tight, and in case I do want to go on there, I can, you know, this seam will pop, and these I can pop up because they're just super glued, because this is a 3D printed part, so I have to get super glued anyway, because the model cement won't weld it. But it's on there tight, so I'm not really gonna worry about gluing it. And like I said, if I ever need to get in here, I can easily pop and then break that seam and pull this out, and I only have that seam to fix in here, because I can actually, this is fitting tighter than it was before, but we'll still see if there's light leak, because that's the main reason why I was actually touching those corners up there. But what I'm going to do is take perfect plastic putty, a little wet, and then stick it down in there. I might even do that up on these seams where these engine bells go over top. This side's really nice and tight, especially the lower. There's a little bit of a gap there, but that looks normal. So that's where we're at. A little tiny rod here will work for a pin. It actually fits in tight. Nice and tight. So I just clipped that end all nice, and let's see if we can get this to feed through. I might have to pre-drill because it was going through. Yeah, I might have to run a little drill bit through there because I can get it to go through the canopy part, and that's because I didn't it wasn't a lot of paint in there, and it's going to be tight enough that it'll stay, you know, hopefully. Probably after a couple uses it won't. Where I can lift that up and it stays up. But here, I think I got a lot of paint in the hole. So we're going to have to drill that out. Let's see if we got a, what bit size is that? Boy, it might be the one I already have in the bit. Let's see if it fits through this. It does, so that's what we're going to use. Can we go straight through? Yep. Very carefully pull out. So I think it was just paint in the holes that were causing the problem. Yep. Now that goes straight through. Beautiful. So we'll leave that there. Get this canopy in there. Hopefully we can line it up. The holes, there we go. Went through that part. And there it is there. Now I wonder if I get this out of the way. I'm afraid if I use the thin, extra thin, it'll wick through and lock this down. Maybe if I just use just a light dab of it. I'm going to try. I'm going to leave a little out here. Well, you know, on this end. I am going to push that tight. And then all I have to do is trim the other end. I'm going to try to do as little glue as possible, so it doesn't wick itself through to the where this is touching. And I don't know how much this glue is going to really work anyway, because it's a modeling glue, and this is a 3D printed part. But it might soften the styrene up enough to so even if it does wick through, it won't completely. I mean, we can get this like all the way up. See, that whole thing's turning. That's the problem. It started to weld because, like, you know, unless I try to throw a little bit of super glue through. Maybe I can get a little bit of this on a toothpick and dab it right on the end there. Some of this extra thin. Super glue. It's hard to tell with this wood if you grabbed any super glue on a toothpick. Oh, there we go. That should work. It tried to wick through into the canopy. Well, it made it stiffer. So hopefully some of the gunk that went in there will cause a little friction for the canopy to stay open like it's doing now. And it'll help it stay closed. Yeah? Hey, I like it. And I put this away and I need it to trim this last little piece. There we go. Then what we'll do to dirty it up, since that's a new piece of plastic, is we'll just hit it with a little wash on a brush, just to get some dirt. It'll go around the. Hopefully, I don't need that anymore. It'll go around the diameter, you know, around the peg and make it look like a rivet or something. I'm really happy. That's working okay. Let's go in here and there you go. Darken it up a little bit. That's all it needed. That's all she wrote. Make sure all those are tight because they evaporate. Looks like well, I ordered a Kronos 1. Looks like I should have ordered some glues too. Yeah, I'm so happy. By the time you guys see this, it'll already been several weeks later. But I did a pre-order for the Kronos 1 from Polar Lights. I already have the 350 Katinga. This is the Kronos 1 or Kronos 1 version of the Katinga. It's still trying to, or that might, oh, you know what that is? That might be the back of this catching the, yeah. So once I pull that up. But definitely the glues help that set a little better. Did we damage the top of this dude's head? Might have to hit him with a little more gold. I don't mind a little wear. His helmet should look a little worn, so it's all good. There we go. Well, like I said, that's the best we can do with this situation with the 3D printed canopy. But I'm okay with how that came out. Like I said, later on I might get the Mobius version. I think the Mobius version is so much more accurate. I think the Mobius version has like a raised panel up here, which looks cool. Here I got a copy of Fine Scale Modelers, and I'm looking at it. It's this issue here, and yeah, you see a little raised detail there, which looks cool. Other than that, she's pretty close. If you look. I mean, looking at it from here, even the little greebly details on the sides of the fins there are pretty good. That looks really good. That's pretty, it's pretty close. I'm thinking that guy was building the Mobius version. Because it looks almost exactly like this. I think I went too far. See if I can get to that article. Well, there's him putting, well, he used his bottle caps. He used the bottle caps, which is actually a brilliant idea. He used bottle caps and resin and put 3 LEDs per engine and put it in resin in a bottle cap, and the bottle cap fits right in these engine bells. And that's pretty brilliant. You get 3 LEDs per engine. Yeah, this is definitely the Mobius. I see difference in how things are snapped together there. It looks exact there, except for that part there. But boy, she's the same, unless he added that raised detail. I don't know. But I think I would like to get the Mobius version. He left the seam in the back, but I'm puttying mine. Like, I'm not going to go crazy, but I wanted to putty that seam. I had a bigger gap in just these corners. You know, this looks nice and tight, so it looks like a panel. So very cool. But there we are. That's where we're at. I'm sorry I rambled. I do that a lot. But she's looking good. I'm very happy. And we got, like I said, it catches on that corner over there. And I got a canopy that actually will open, which I kind of wanted since that was a feature of that 3D print, where he could easily just made that one whole piece. But yeah, now I have one that actually has a canopy that raises. And I kind of like that trim around the bottom. So when it is open, it looks, you know, it looks cool. It looks like a seal. Hi, Jack Kitty. You coming to make a cameo? But anyway, I appreciate you, everybody watching. I appreciate all the subscribers. I think what we're at is a reveal coming up. I can't think of anything more I need to do. We solved that. Big issue that I was putting off and dreading on how that was going to work. The engine situation is finished and fixed. I just got to putty that and hit it with, you know, or sand that and fix that seam. And we'll come back. Next time we come back, it's going to be the reveal. So until then, thanks for watching, everyone.